A Tesla owner in California who bought 3 Powerwall batteries and a massive solar array says that Tesla's new virtual power plant is paying for his system. So he pays nothing for it because of the money he's making back from Tesla's virtual power plant. Well, now more and more people in California are signing up. This thing is getting massive. It's going to be the biggest battery in the world, and it's going to actually eventually make Tesla one of the biggest electricity companies in the world. Why? Well, Tesla have just expanded the project to 2 more states. How long will it be before Tesla's virtual power plant exists across all 52 states in the United States? Well, I don't think it'll be long, and I don't think it'll be long before customers start working out what's going on and before electricity companies start to get very, very concerned. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to the new subscribers, and welcome back everyone else. And thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for supporting the channel. Great to have you. Thank you for supporting the channel through Patreon as well. Really appreciate Patreon supporters and members, YouTube members. You guys really help us out too. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, what's a YouTube member, I'll put a link in the description below. Mark Gilland placed his order for a Tesla Solar Plus Powerwall system in June last year. By the second week of August 2021, his solar panels and his 3 battery packs were installed, though the homeowner had to wait until early September 2021 before the system was turned on. The setup was big and impressive. With its 12.24 kilowatt hour solar array, 3 Tesla Powerwalls, and 2 inverters, this Gilland believed would be a good way to reduce his home's typical power bill, which hits $650 per month. The benefits of the solar panels and Powerwall batteries were immediately evident, with the owner noting that his home's power charges dropped to $0 every month. He just has to pay the connection fee, which is $10 a month. He's paying nothing though for power. Thus, when Tesla launched its California virtual power plant, the Powerwall owner promptly opted in with the rollout of the program's $2 per kilowatt hour incentive. Joining the virtual power plant just made sense. His Gilland's Tesla Solar Plus Powerwall system participated in recent virtual power plant events, sending 35 kilowatt hours back to the grid during one single day in September alone. Overall, the homeowner's solar and battery system has sent a total of 255 kilowatt hours into the grid during the recent heat wave. This meant the system has been able to earn $510 in compensation in just 1 week's operation. That was more than enough to cover the monthly costs for the system. It's a no-brainer in many places in the world, especially hot places, in particular places like Australia. When Tesla actually starts to operate this system in Australia, it's going to absolutely kill the market here. Why? Solar is way cheaper here in Australia than it is in the United States, right? Imagine how much money Tesla could make having a VPP, a virtual power plant here in Australia. Everyone will sign into it. Well, not everyone, but many thousands and thousands of people will do so. Well, Tesla is now expanding the power plant. It's expanding its global ambition to become one of the world's biggest electricity companies. They don't talk about this often, but actually that's what they plan on doing. In 2017, a German residential battery company was exploring places in America where it could replicate the virtual power plant systems it already created in Europe. And this was 5 years ago. At first glance, Utah seemed like pretty rocky soil for an idea like this to actually work. Didn't seem likely. Rooftop solar was a niche market at best in Utah at the time. There were no state incentives for domestic renewable energy at all, and the state's net metering program paid rooftop customers far less for their excess electricity than they paid for electricity from their local utilities. Didn't make any sense. That's when serendipity came into play, says Steve Hanley from CleanTechnica. Sonnen struck a deal with Wasatch Group, a housing developer. It found an installer partner called ES Solar that was willing to completely overhaul its sales tactics to emphasize that batteries are capable and show what they can do. As a result, a Sonnen battery became part of every unit in a new solar-powered apartment complex in a suburb of Salt Lake City known as Soleil Lofts. When the apartment complex was completed, Sonnen approached Rocky Mountain Power, the area's largest utility company, and said it had 12.6 megawatt hours of stored energy at Solal Lofts, which it would be happy to share with the company. Then it gave Rocky Mountain Power the keys to the virtual power plant and wished them well. As marketing strategies go, this was a very bold move at the time. It hadn't been done before in the US. After a few days, the vast majority decide. Sure enough, though, the strategy worked. Rocky Mountain Power started experimenting with this real-world laboratory of distributed solar generation and energy storage conveniently located at a single point in the distribution grid. Pretty soon, it was cycling those batteries all the time to reduce demand for fossil-fueled peaker plants, which are extremely expensive, releasing grid congestion and delivering the momentary adjustments to the grid known as frequency regulation. 3 years later, according to Canary Media, the batteries were being called upon to inject electricity into the grid multiple times per day. The utility also used the system to study what kinds of grid infrastructure upgrades it could defer with the help of those batteries. So how does this virtual power plant work? Well, any utility customer can sign up. Residential storage batteries typically cost around $10,000 installed. But the Inflation Reduction Act provides a 30% credit, $3,000 off the price. The utility company then kicks in $400 per kilowatt hour of battery capacity, which is $2,800 for a typical 7 kilowatt hour battery, and pays the customer an annual credit of $15 per kilowatt hour, $105 for a 7 kilowatt hour battery. The total $5,800 off the price and $105 a year credit for as long as you remain part of the program. A 4-year commitment is required. The consumer can clearly see this is the solar of the future, Blake Rochetta, CEO of Sonnen's US business, tells Canary Media. Not just a solar panel on your roof, but a solar array plus batteries. With the utility seeing value with the program, it makes solar by itself look massively inferior. So far, 3,000 Utah households are participating or in the process of getting enrolled. This is just the start though. Adding a battery lets homeowners store solar power throughout the day and consume it into the night instead of dumping surplus generation into the grid for either no compensation or a very small amount. The batteries also provide backup power during outages. And now, thanks to this new VPP program in Utah, residential customers can get paid by the utility for allowing their batteries to be used to support the grid as part of a virtual power plant. What do the utilities companies get out of the deal? Well, access to the hundreds of megawatt hours of battery storage without having to pay for massive grid-scale battery storage systems. Clearly, this deal works well for utility companies. Clearly, this deal works even better for Tesla, who does no subsidies on these systems whatsoever, but makes a profit on selling them, especially now, since Tesla is using lithium iron phosphate batteries in their new energy storage products, bringing down the cost for Tesla to manufacture them. Now, all across the United States, this is going to happen. This is going to play out. Sure, it's going to take longer in other places. I mean, areas like Texas and Florida, of course. More and more people will get solar and batteries installed there. In particular, probably Tesla, because they know the brand and they trust it. However, other companies will do the same. Eventually, this is what will end up dominating the electrical grid in the US and in Australia and in many countries around the world where they are very, very sunny. Eventually, customers will control the grid, or middlemen like Tesla, who basically operate these virtual power plants at no cost to themselves. Have you ever thought of a better business model than that? I mean, really, this is the perfect business model for Tesla. Even if they don't make any profit on their batteries and their solar panels, or at least make a small profit, eventually they could stand to gain billions of dollars simply being the middleman and operating these virtual power plants on behalf of the customer and the electricity companies themselves. And this is one of the key reasons now why I've been saying for a long time that yes, renewable energy will very quickly replace coal and gas generation in the United States and also in Australia. Frankly, the future here is great because what does it mean? Less cost to you, more money in your pocket, and more money, less fossil fuels being burned, and more clean energy for everyone. I think it's a really exciting time to be alive. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.